There's so much Last of Us 2 news to talk about every day right now. And in my opinion, it's the most interesting thing to talk about because there's a couple of narratives that are going around right now when it surrounds this game and the Game Awards. One, it's those gamers, they just don't get it. They're not smart enough to get it. They need to get back in their basement. Or there's the game is the bestest ever. It's the greatest game ever made, and it deserved everything. Or there's the Game Awards conversation where people are going after Neil Druckmann after the awards are given. But it's still interesting to see outlets going after Neil Druckmann after all these outlets spent the past year pretty much like shining the man's shoes every day on social media. So it's funny to see that happen. And then, you have all of the outlets defending it. So it's just an interesting conversation, and it's fun to watch. Take this article, for example. You stupid gamers, you guys just need to get back in your basements. That's pretty much what this article is. It's full of lies. It's definitely trying to take the title of biggest Neil Druckmann bootlicker and take it for itself. Inverse wants to be the top shill, and they did a great job of applying for that status symbol with this article. I gotta say, they avoided telling the truth about why the game is so hated. They checked all of the Istifo boxes. Of course, if you don't like this game, you are absolutely bigot. Stuff like that. That's what it does. People hated the game because Abby. It was all because of Abby. They just didn't like a muscular woman. That's all it was. That's all it was. Sure. All right. Yeah, they ticked all those boxes. So Neil, I'm sure, read this one with a smile. I'm sure he loved this one. Got stuff like this right here. Still, Abby's appearance alone was enough to inspire a wave of review bombing and hate speech, along with countless attempts to spoil the game's story for unwitting social media users. Much of this anger seemed to stem from the idea that LGBTQ+ and non-gender conforming characters are off-putting to real gamers, implicitly assumed to be straight men. This kind of gatekeeping is sadly nothing new for gaming or fandoms in general. It's a symptom of the pervasive tribalism in which literally any and all personal interests are reconfigured as adversarial. And here's what's funny about that. It's not the people that are saying, hey, this story is just not good. This story is a mess. It's a disaster. The AI sucks. These characters are unlikable. No. It's the side that shills that says the people that don't like it, well, the only reason they don't like this must be because they don't like women. Obviously, that's the thing. Was really what it is. So it's funny that this outlet Inverse says that we're being adversarial. It's really the people that will try to ruin your life and dox you and get your stuff deplatformed or label you an istophobe. They're the ones I would say are adversarial. But oh no, it's just the people that disagree with us critically. Those are the ones that are adversarial. Why can't they just get in line? Why can't they just get in line? Haven't we scared you enough? We'll cancel you. That's really what it is. But they always let that go. And here's another thing. No one was hating on the identity stuff. Everybody knew who Ellie is and what she prefers since the first game. But now all of a sudden, that's a big problem that nobody had an issue with that, by the way. Most of the criticisms were based on the fact that the game was just a turd in the narrative department. And there's plenty of reasons why. But let's just ignore all that because, well, it ticks all the right boxes. So the story really doesn't matter to any of these outlets. And second, I like how, of course, this outlet doesn't share both sides of the story, particularly when it comes to the spoilers for the game, which an employee leaked out. And then, of course, everyone was talking about it, and Naughty Dog thought it would be okay to just abuse DMCA practices to take down channels and Twitter accounts. Let's just go ahead and just destroy people's platforms. And it wasn't even videos, and I don't think, even if you talked over the video and stuff, I don't think there was anything wrong with people talking about the spoilers, but they were taking down channels where people showed nothing, where they just had a camera right on their own face and talked. Hey, we'll take those down too. That's illegal. And they never covered it. Not one mainstream shill media site talked about it. That's how you know these people were licking his shoes all summer, and they're still doing it. But you need to shut up, gamer. Get back in your basement. And then, of course, down here, they complain about how people on the Twitch stream, which apparently had a lot of people, there were a lot of people watching that Game Awards, actually, were typing in all caps, rigged, which I think is kind of funny. Like, it for sure was rigged. It's journalists and media sites, and maybe a couple developers that voted on this, but journalists and the respective outlets are the ones who picked the gaming award. And the way that they've all shilled for this game and this company and the president of the company, Neil Druckmann, yes, it was fair to say that the damn awards were rigged. But hey, we're not going to talk about that. It's just a bunch of bigot trolls. That's all that is. That's all that is. And of course, they're complaining about people over on Reddit losing it, as they quote, over the Game Awards. So-called Last of Us fans are bombarding the Last of Us 2 subreddit because it's won 7 of the year's Game Awards. And then the Duke Nukem developer defended the crunch. Now, this is what they're getting on with Neil Druckmann. So this guy comes out, of course, maybe he's looking for a job at Naughty Dog. I don't know. George Broussard, who is the lead developer behind Duke Nukem Forever. Don't even need to get into the history of that game. That game is that game is a mess, a complete mess. But we don't need to talk about Duke Nukem. He comes out, gives it to the incels. He says, "Oh, F off! You have no idea what it takes to ship world-beating AAA games, and you take the word of a disgruntled ex-employee versus the hundreds that are happy there, also comparing a 20-man indie to a 300-person studio. It's stupid. Don't know a single studio that doesn't try their best to limit and mitigate crunch hours to eliminate it. Fact is, making large AAA games with hundreds of people is a very hard problem, and things happen and timelines slip. It's not all bad management. Studios do their best. Stop vilifying them." Now, I actually don't care about the crunch. I don't. Everyone has to work hard sometimes and harder during certain times of life. It's just life. But, games journalists who consider playing a game over the weekend for their easy as hell job to review video games, hard work, I highly doubt they have any idea what that's even like. So, of course, they're going to go and try to look like heroes for defending crunch or getting mad about crunch. I really don't think it's a big deal. There's plenty of reasons why Neil Druckmann should not have won Best Director. But the crunch thing, I don't really care about too much. You can feel free to disagree with me. I just think that's part of taking the job, and you have to work hard. They don't work hard like that the whole time. But when you're getting close to the end, you got to bust down. You got to buckle down a little bit and get the job done. That's just the way it is. So another thing I wanted to show here was more people getting mad about the award with Neil. Should games like The Last of Us Part 2 be rewarded for crunch? And of course, I just don't think the game deserved. Like, here's the big thing. A lot of people talk about Hades should have won more, and that's actually a contender in a lot of things, and it didn't win shit. Of course, Last of Us Part 2 got it. Another article like this, of course, The Last of Us Part 2 won Game of the Year, whether or not it deserved it. This is an interesting article because Forbes has some interesting takes sometimes when it comes to video game topics. And I got it's like sometimes they actually do a decent job. This is actually a decent article and points out the fact that, these people all had their favorite and that was it. All these journalists basically wanted that game to win and they made sure it won. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because, it's all about what your game of the year is what really matters, and that can be whatever game you want it to be. Kind of downplaying the awards, and I agree that the awards are shit, But the problem is there is some prestige of being able to re-release your game in a Game of the Year edition and list all that stuff in there. After a game stales, a normie who doesn't follow any of this stuff will go into like a Walmart or a GameStop and see this sitting on a shelf with Druckmann's going to re-release it with, it won 70,000 awards. Like that catches their eye. This is why every game that wins an award releases a Game of the Year version. But Druckmann's going to post all of the quotes and awards all over it. You can only put the ones you win on there. So Game of the Year with only one Game of the Year award from one outlet doesn't look as sexy as, having 70 outlets that you can plaster all over your box art. And then, of course, if it's a digital sale, you can put it all over in a new release, like in the PlayStation Store, and highlight that. There's a little bit of prestige for them to be able to list that on there. But I do like that some journalists are at least calling out the fact that maybe they didn't deserve all of these awards. A lot of them seem to be upset Hades didn't win. That's the big one. Ghost of Tsushima, Eric Kane here says he thought that was a much better game in a lot of ways. It's very rare that you hear someone say that in the games media, so I commend him for that. But anyway, that's pretty much the story. I don't know. This will probably be the Last of Us 2 Game Awards video. I just don't see where else this is going to go. But I have enjoyed the ride. It was fun to talk about all of the clown shows surrounding this game again. And we'll see what happens. I'm sure it's going to win more awards in the next couple of weeks. And that might be fun to talk about too. But as of right now, I think this is probably it. So congratulations, Neil, for giving yourself a bunch of awards. And I'm sure your shoes are very, very clean, especially after this article right here. They did a great job of cleaning your shoes, I got to say. So congratulations on those shiny new shoes, Neil. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, comment. Let me know what you think. Also, if you would, make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.